Right now at noon, Hurricane Milton making its final march towards Florida. How the state prepares for potentially one of the worst storms in a century. Plus, a Madison man learns his punishment this afternoon after hitting and killing a man while driving drunk. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us on a very busy Wednesday afternoon. I'm Josh Spreiter. We want to begin with a live look at the southernmost point of the continental United States. This is a look in Key West, Florida at this hour. Hurricane Milton preparing to make landfall later tonight. You can already see the waves crashing over the wall, drenching those looking to get a picture next to the landmark. Hurricane Milton was downgraded this morning to a strong Category 4 storm with 155-mile-per-hour sustained winds. Milton is set to make landfall overnight on Florida's west coast, bringing with it catastrophic winds, rain, and storm surge. Terry Hornstein reports from Tampa, where meteorologists are warning the storm surge could get as high as 15 feet.
Storm surge hit Key West early Wednesday morning as Hurricane Milton barreled closer to Florida.
We are bracing and are prepared to receive a major hit.
Mandatory evacuation orders were issued for areas along the Gulf Coast, including the city of Treasure Island. The monster storm is expected to make landfall early Thursday before sweeping across the central part of the state. Forecasters say the intensity of Milton is like nothing Floridians have ever seen before.
This is a massive storm that is going to bring catastrophic wind, but also flooding and storm surge. And so listen to your local officials. Nobody needs to die from this storm. I want people to get out of harm's way.
But some are choosing to stay, including people in this retirement community in St. Petersburg, where debris from Hurricane Helene still litters the neighborhood.
I don't have anywhere to go, and I'm afraid to get stranded somewhere on the interstate.
Still, others got the message. The roads remain packed with residents trying to get to safety.
We don't feel it's safe with my son and their family to stick around.
Gas shortages have also become a problem.
This is the only place that has fuel.
Federal officials say residents may not need to go far to get to safety. In some areas, just going a few miles inland could make all the difference. Terry Hornstein, CBS News, Tampa.
For the latest storm track on Milton, First Warn meteorologist Kelly Slifka is out on the weather patio. And Kelly, I'm seeing reports of tornadoes across South Florida.
Yeah, in South Florida, I was seeing some of the video and earlier, and it almost looked like you were in the plains of Oklahoma, because these were isolated tornadoes in the middle of nowhere, way away from where the hurricane is in parts of South Florida. And we continue to see this hurricane get closer and closer to the coast of Florida, the southwest coast. Right now, it looks like Tampa, St. Petersburg, Sarasota, the west central coast looks to be the bullseye for this hurricane. You can still see well, you can't really see the eye form, but you can see that circulation around the eye. It did dissipate overnight. It's running into a little bit of shear, is what we call it, some upper level winds that are not conducive for sustaining this system. Usually hurricanes like very ambient conditions as far as the upper level winds are concerned. That is not the case right now. It is running into a little bit of disturbance. All right, the radar right now, it is just over 115 miles to the southwest of, say, Sarasota, Florida, into the Tampa Bay area. You can see all that heavy rain already inundating the west coast of Florida. As this thing is starting to wobble a little bit. And this is a concern when you start to see these hurricanes wobble. Just a 10 to 20 mile per hour, 20 mile distance can make a difference of what kind of conditions you see as far as not only the wind, but also that storm surge. And the strongest storm surge is usually to the right of the hurricane. That's because it's spiraling all that water right on the coast, and that's what we're likely to be seeing. Watching our future track radar as it continues to move a little bit closer, they're just going to be seeing that really heavy rain just getting pounded in Tampa, St. Petersburg, and Sarasota. A little bit drier air down to the south toward Fort Myers. Around here, we've got sunshine. Once again, another very quiet day. Right now, we've got clear skies. Currently, we're sitting at 64 degrees. The winds are out of the east. I think we might be a degree or two warmer than yesterday. Still very pleasant with lots of sunshine expected all week long. Could be peaking out in the lower 80s on Friday before a cold front drops us into the 60s this weekend. Right now, we're sitting at 64 in Middleton and also Madison, 63 in Waunakee. We'll look at a lot of sunshine today. Another beautiful afternoon as temperatures get close to 70. We're going to continue to warm up this weekend, but some cooler weather this weekend. And also we're talking about maybe our first freeze early next week. We'll have all those details, including Milton, coming up in about 15 minutes.
Boy, I wish we could give them some of our quiet weather. It's hard to complain up here, Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, we could use a little rain. I mean, not what they're going to be getting, but yeah, we could use a little rain around here.
All right, we'll see you in just a little bit. Thank you. To some of our other headlines this afternoon, a woman is in critical condition after being shot in East Troy Tuesday. It started when the Walworth County Sheriff's Office was told about a woman attacking a man with a razor blade. When deputies got there, the woman allegedly exited the home through a window armed with a knife. Deputies asked her to drop the weapon, but she didn't listen. That's when a deputy fired their weapon, hitting the woman. First responders took her to a hospital where she remains in custody. A Madison man convicted in a deadly car crash will be sentenced later today. 26-year-old Alex Young pleaded guilty in August to homicide by intoxicated use of a vehicle. This comes from a crash on August 9th of last year. It happened near the intersection of West Washington Avenue and South Park Street in Madison. The criminal complaint says Young had been driving 80 miles per hour before the crash. An 83-year-old man died from that collision. Officer found Young's blood alcohol content to be nearly double the legal limit. His sentencing hearing is scheduled for 1:30 this afternoon. Right now, a Baraboo man is in custody after allegedly hitting a bicyclist with an SUV and driving away. That bicyclist died at the scene. 31-year-old Tareen Putman faces several charges, including hit and run involving death. The incident last night in the township of Fairfield. Somehow or someone reported a bicyclist getting hit by an SUV and thrown into a ditch. EMS performed life-saving measures, but they were not successful. The victim is being identified as a 61-year-old. His name is Kristen Harding of Baraboo. Law enforcement later found the vehicle and arrested Putman. To the 2024 election now, Democrats are going after former President Trump's alleged connections with Russian President Vladimir Putin. According to an upcoming book from journalist Bob Woodard, an unnamed Trump aide says Trump continued speaking with Russian President Vladimir Putin after leaving office. Woodward also writes that during the onset of the pandemic in 2020, Trump secretly sent COVID tests to Putin, even though they were in short supply. The Trump campaign denies the claims, calling Woodward, quote, an angry little man, while the Harris campaign is jumping at the report.
He gets played by these guys. He admires so-called strongmen, and he gets played because they flatter him or offer him favor.
That's wrong. That's absolutely wrong. Look, I know Bob Woodward. No, that's a false story.
The Kremlin also denies Woodward's report. Meanwhile, both candidates are out campaigning in battleground states today, with Trump in Pennsylvania. Harris is heading to Nevada and Arizona. First Lady Jill Biden will be back in Madison on Monday. This after President Biden visited Milwaukee yesterday. The campaign stop is on behalf of Vice President Kamala Harris. The First Lady is expected to speak on reproductive rights, democracy, and economic opportunity, among other topics. There's no word on exactly where or when she will speak. Meanwhile, Senator Bernie Sanders is campaigning for Harris in Baraboo this weekend. Sanders plans to be there Saturday, though details on what he'll be talking about and where he'll be have not yet been revealed. Still ahead for us on a Wednesday afternoon, a piece of Star Wars history goes up for auction, plus why several state attorneys general are now suing the popular app TikTok.
My name is Bill. I am retired. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I live here in Wisconsin. I am not a political person, but Eric Hovde doesn't understand how important Social Security and Medicare are around here. I'm on Social Security, and Hovde said he absolutely supported cuts to Social Security and Medicare. Imagine working longer, paying into the system, and then poof, you're paying your bills with less. He knows it. Cutting Social Security and Medicare will cost us. He just doesn't care.
WIN Senate is responsible for the content of this message.
Sometimes the smallest cracks can cause the biggest chills. This fall, watch out for the draft.
For quality windows, siding, and doors, call 866 for Feldco.
Kamala Harris is going to significantly raise taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
Kamala's plan will raise families' taxes by nearly $2,600 a year. Under Kamala, prices have already soared. Now she'd make it worse with even higher taxes.
Taxes are going to have to go up?
President Trump will cut taxes again. No taxes on tips, overtime, or Social Security.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Nobody wants to think about cold weather, but now's the time to winterproof your home. Is your house cold every winter? Your home needs foam. Are your heating costs too high? Your home needs foam. Do you have different temperatures in different rooms? Your home needs foam. USA Premium Foam is over 35% more efficient than ordinary, weaker insulation. Winterproof now and get 0% financing for 72 months.
USA Insulation.
Brian Stiles said he's proud of his extreme record. So why is he lying about it? Stiles said he was proud to be part of a group pushing to gut Social Security and Medicare, that he proudly supports abortion bans. And Brian Stiles said he's proud to be backed by extremists pushing a total ban nationwide. Peter Barca's backed by police, firefighters, and unions because Peter puts Wisconsin first, no matter the party, and that's something to be proud of.
I'm Peter Barca, and I approve this message.
Prices are up, wages are down, inflation is crushing Wisconsin families. Yet Sarah Kieski, she supports lifting revenue limits, allowing property tax rates to skyrocket unchecked. Even more radical, Kieski's backers want to ban natural gas to heat our homes, driving utility bills through the roof. Tax hikes and higher prices for families and those living on fixed incomes. That's Kieski's record, expensive and extreme. Reject Sarah Kieski and her radical agenda.
State attorneys general are suing TikTok. They allege the app harms children's mental health by using addictive features to keep kids glued to the platform, pointing out that some young people were harmed or died due to viral challenges. In a statement to CBS News, a TikTok spokesperson called the claims inaccurate and misleading and said the company is deeply committed to the work they've done to protect teens. JetBlue is dropping hot meals for coach passengers on transatlantic flights. Instead, the air carrier will serve cold menu options in collaboration with salad and healthy food company Dig. JetBlue offers daily transatlantic flights between the U.S. and 5 European cities. And an original Stormtrooper helmet from the 1977 Star Wars film A New Hope is expected to fetch up to $625,000 at Prop Store auction in the United Kingdom next month. The helmet is specifically known as a Sand Trooper helmet and is from the iconic "These Are Not the Droids You're Looking For" scene. Other items up for auction include a helmet from the 2000 Russell Crowe film Gladiator and a ghost face mask signed by Henry Winkler, the actor who wore it in the film Scream. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Chanel Call.
At the noon hour, here's your stock report. The Dow is up 339 points, NASDAQ up 67, and the S&P 500 also up today, 32. Our call for action volunteers are in the building today taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Remember, you can call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. Straight ahead at noon, we have today's egg prices, and Kelly is tracking the first warn forecast. Then later on our news at 4, Lisa Briggs answers your plant questions. You can send them to us at tips@channel3000.com for a chance to be answered live at 4.
Kirsty Shanks has had her hands on loads of classic films.
Get an 11% rebate on everything now at Menards. Get free estimates fast on new energy-efficient windows from Geldwin. Choose from vinyl or wood windows and customize the perfect size for your home. Get an 11% rebate on all Geldwin windows. Shop our huge selection of window images, blinds, and shades. Room darkening vinyl blinds starting at $11.99 each after rebate. Plus, you can get them cut to width for free in store.
Save big money at Menards.
With high inflation, working families like mine are hurting, and Kamala Harris helped create this mess. Now, while Americans struggle, Kamala spent our tax dollars putting illegal immigrants up in hotel rooms, and she supported spending our tax dollars to give illegals sex changes. It's not just liberal, it's insane. Kamala Harris can never, ever be our president.
Preserve America PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Are you tired of the constant pain, numbness, tingling, and the poor balance caused by peripheral neuropathy? At Midwest Spine and Nerve Center, we help patients just like you with our non-invasive treatment options designed to reduce pain and improve balance and function without the need for drugs or surgery. Our personalized approach focuses on treating those symptoms and giving you back the life you deserve. Experience the benefits of a treatment plan designed to restore your quality of life. Call to schedule your complimentary consultation today.
They produced yacht rock hits that defined an era. It's Ambrosia. Performing live October 12th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells. With special guest John Ford Coley. Tickets are on sale now through Ticketmaster. Soft rock that rocked the yacht. Ambrosia, John Ford Coley, October 12th at Ho Chunk Gaming, Wisconsin Dells.
It seems like everyone in Washington is either too far left or too far right. I'm Rebecca Cook, and like most folks in Wisconsin, I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll stand up to Democrats to fight for a secure border and stop wasteful spending. I'll stand up to extremists like Derek Van Orden, who wants to ban all abortions with no exceptions. Like you, I'm fed up and ready for change. I approve this message because it's time that we sent one of us to Congress.
When replacing your windows, you want them to be built by the best and backed by the best. That's what you'll get with replacement windows only available from Renewal by Andersen. When you choose Renewal by Andersen and want to keep remodeling, you're not getting a one-size-fits-all product. From design and sales to manufacturing, installation, and service, we own the entire process. This month only, save $377 per window and $777 per patio door, plus 1 year no payment, no interest financing. Visit wannakeyremodeling.com for more details.
The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report is out of the radio barn today, so here are your farm numbers. Looking ahead, 4 new retailers will open up in the former AMC theater space at Hilldale. The shops including eyewear brand Warby Parker, which is relocating from State Street. That's expected to open later this year. The other 3 are beauty retailer Sephora, salad and grain bowl restaurant Sweet Green, and men's apparel shop Jackson Gray. These retailers are expected to open next year. Let's get a look at your certified most accurate forecast now. First Storm meteorologist Kelly Slivka is tracking the latest on Hurricane Milton at this hour. Kelly.
Yeah, it's poised to make landfall. I think already the eye wall toward the dinner hour, the west central coast of Florida. And that eye wall definitely is not the place you want to be in. We're hopeful that everybody has evacuated that area. Right now, it's about 116 miles to the southwest of Tampa, Sarasota area. Now, on the right side of it, or on the southern side of it, that's where the storm surge is they're going to be the worst. And basically all that wind is just continuing to pile up that water toward the coastal areas, and that's why they see the worst of the storm surge. Now on the north side of it, still expecting some very high surge at 8 to 12 feet. Now if this should shift a little bit further to the north, we're just talking about 20 miles. That would be even worse for Tampa Bay. That would pile up all that water in the bay there, and they could be seeing that storm surge of 10 to 15 feet. So the track is very important. Now, a lot of times these hurricanes, they start to wobble a little bit as they get a little bit closer to the coast, and that's what this hurricane is starting to do. And that wobble, just as it makes landfall, could make a big difference. But either way, all of the west central coast is going to see the extreme problems with Milton, we're talking about storm surge. What is that? Well, that's when the water, and as mentioned, as that wind continues to pile up that water just continues to rise and rise, and it will likely be at the rooftops once you get up to 12 feet there in the west central coast of Florida. Right now, winds of 145 miles per hour. It is moving fairly quickly now. It's getting caught up in some upper level winds, and that's why it did weaken a little bit. It's moving at 17 miles per hour to the north and east, getting closer and closer to Tampa, St. Petersburg, Sarasota. Here in the late afternoon as we get toward the dinner hour, that eye wall just about ready to make its way inland. And the center of the eye, once that makes landfall, that's when we consider it to be making landfall. Sometime later tonight toward the midnight hour, still remain in a hurricane. And then we'll start to talk about the storm surge on the backside of it, coming in off the Atlantic, hitting the Daytona Beach area, parts of the eastern part of Florida. Everything moves out pretty quickly Thursday afternoon, so things will start to improve, but obviously a lot of devastation as winds will be close to 125 miles per hour as it starts to make landfall. A little bit later this evening into the overnight period, moves inland still as a hurricane, Category 3 hurricane, before dissipating to a Category 1 hurricane as it exits the coast near Melbourne, and that's when they'll see that erosion on the north side of it. For us, we've got quiet weather around here, plenty of sunshine across most of this state and really much of the upper Midwest. We'll talk about temperatures getting close to 70, maybe some low 70s in southwestern Wisconsin. And with the dry air in place, we'll back off through the 40s tonight, waking up to temperatures in the mid-40s. And then by tomorrow afternoon, we're talking about some really nice weather headed well into the 70s. All right, lots of sunshine this week. We're talking about some 80s on Friday, 60s this weekend as it does cool down. The jet stream up toward north, that's allowing that warm air up here and also the quiet weather. Now, we will get a taste of some cooler air that'll work in Sunday into early next week, but it looks like that coolest of air will slide on to the east. We'll get into some milder weather by Wednesday and Thursday of next week. High temperatures, though, we're going to be well above average in the 80s, it looks like by Friday, but in the 60s and even the 50s early next week. Could see our first freeze here in Madison either Monday morning or Tuesday morning. Really no chance of rain going forward. Right now we're sitting at 64 in Madison, 68 in Lone Rock, so we are starting to warm up. I think everybody should be up near 70 or the low 70s today, 64 currently in Middleton. All right, our first warm forecast, 70 today, 74 tomorrow, 81 as we do cool down for the weekend. I would say Saturday the nicest day, kind of chilly on Sunday, maybe getting close to freezing, waking up Tuesday morning.
All right, Kelly, thank you. Well, fans of Sherlock Holmes are in for a treat as restoration experts have pieced together a 100-year-old silent mystery. As CBS's Tina Kraus reports, it's the last work of its kind to be digitally transformed.
Kirsty Shanks has had her hands on loads of classic films over the years from the stacks of archives at the British Film Institute. But inspecting the latest reel has taken some true detective work.
Sherlock has been the most challenging restoration I've worked on, mainly because of the scale.
She's part of a conservation team reviving Sherlock Holmes, restoring a century-old silent film series following the adventures of the famous fictional detective.
And they're the last silent Sherlock-related works to be restored. All of the other surviving ones have already been done.
Experts are transforming 20 hours of footage with Sherlockian methods, given its age.
A lot of films over the years have decomposed into powdery, sticky, solid messes. And despite all the damage, it is in pretty good condition.
You know, most of what restoration is...
Ben Thompson is in charge of image quality.
So this is the section just before Waterloo Station.
Digitally erasing marks from decades of wear and tear and using software to match the original filmmaker's use of color.
I probably spent 3 days on it. One shot. 10 seconds.
A meticulous task that proves there's nothing elementary about bringing Sherlock Holmes back to life. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
Today, Howard's recipe dates back to the time of this country's founding fathers.
We are midway through our week-long visit to Washington, D.C. And take it from me, today's recipe is monumental.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
When my husband got throat cancer, it wasn't just a health crisis. It was a financial one for my family. And that's something rural families know all too well. Joan Ballwig voted against expanding affordable health care for rural families and against bringing drug costs down. And that's one reason I decided to run against her. I'm Sarah Kieski, and I'm running for state senate. Because when someone you love needs medical care, the last thing you should have to worry about is how to pay for it.
He murdered a father of 3, sentenced to life in prison. Kamala Harris pushed to use tax dollars to pay for his sex change.
I made sure that they changed the policy so that every transgender inmate would have access.
It sounds insane because it is insane. Kamala was the first to help pay for a prisoner's sex change.
The power that I had, I used it in a way that was about pushing for the movement, frankly, and the agenda.
Kamala's agenda is they, them, not you.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Customers are very surprised at how quickly we can get the garage doors fixed.
When I'm on the job, it's go time.
We know tomorrow is too late.
Here at Precision, we have the best parts, best warranties, and we're always here for you.
Precision Door Service, a name you can trust.
Building that middle class will be a defining goal of my presidency. Compare that to Trump. He fights for himself and his billionaire friends. He intends to enact a national sales tax, the Trump tax, that would raise prices on middle class families by $4,000 a year. Instead of a tax hike, we will pass a middle class tax cut that will benefit more than 100 million Americans.
MSPAC is responsible for the content of this ad.
Join us at the Madison Fall Parade of Homes, exclusively sponsored by Nuns. Don't miss your chance to visit the area's top newly constructed homes filled with the latest trends and technology. Go to MadisonFallParadeOfHomes.com and purchase your tickets today.
When it comes to winning internet, TDS is in a league of our own. Just like the Green Bay Packers, Wisconsin born and bred, we live, work, play, hire, and get involved in the communities we serve. Like delivering the green and gold standard of internet. 100% fiber internet that's as fast, powerful, and reliable as your other hometown favorite, the Packers. TDS, internet that's built Wisconsin strong.
As our week-long visit to Washington, D.C. continues, I have to tell you, there's a lot to do. And for those of you who love museums, there's no shortage of them, including the Smithsonian, which you could get lost in. After all, it's the largest museum in the world. And if you're a foodie like me, you gotta check out the Julia Child exhibit at the National Museum of American History, which is part of the Smithsonian. There you'll see a replica of the kitchen where Julia created her recipes for her cookbooks and taped her TV show. Then we were off to the Washington Monument. It was built to honor and recognize George Washington's leadership and his many contributions to our country. Did you know George Washington loved corn cakes? Well, he did, and they were part of his morning breakfast routine. He loved them so much, we thought it'd be fitting to recreate the recipe and share it with you. It's simple, yet it tastes so monumental. To get the recipe for what we call George Washington's corn cakes, all you need to do is visit our website. I'm Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a monumental way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Here's Kelly with a final check of your forecast.
Yeah, beautiful afternoon for us with the sunshine. We're likely to hit the lower 70s in most areas, and we'll be in the 70s again tomorrow, a little bit warmer, all the way up to 81 before some cooler weather with 60s this weekend. I would say Saturday will be the nicest day, a little bit of a wind on Sunday near 60. Then we'll be in the 50s and even may see our first freeze come Tuesday morning, and we'll likely see frost again Wednesday morning with temperatures in the 30s.
All right, Kelly, thank you. Thanks for joining us. Have a great afternoon.